Live from Hollywood, California, VJ Vernon Husky, the Big Vanilla Funnies, Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
Unsportsmanlike conduct.
Nobody pray for me.
What?
It been a day for me.
What? What?
Yeah. Hey, I remember syrup sandwiches and crime allowance. Messing on them with some now I'm counting.
You gotta be humble in life, man. You do. You gotta be humble in life. You gotta be humble in sports. You gotta be humble in life, and you gotta be humble in sports, man. And that's what today's show is all focused on, is being humble in life and being definitely humble in sports, man. I want to welcome everybody to listen to VJ's on Sportsmanlike Conduct, live right now on iHeartRadio, live right now on Spreaker.com, live right now on the Vesta Sports Network, on Facebook, and also on the Big Vanilla Funny page on IG. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Thank you, God. Thank you, Lord, for another day and another show. Great show lineup for you guys today. No special guests. All you get is me, so you just got to deal with it. I got my green juice rocking. Everybody see right here, I'm on my breakfast health joint. Got my green juice rocking and ready. Mary Jane came to stop by. NFL Week 3 finished up yesterday. We'll finish up tonight with a great Monday night game. Looking forward to Kansas City Chiefs visit defending and reigning most valuable player in the National Football League, Mr. Lamar Jackson. Tonight on Monday Night Football should be a dope game. A lot of people calling for a lot of points. I think there's going to be some defense tonight. I think there's going to be plenty of defense tonight. I don't know about all these points. And then also we have the Lakers advance to the NBA Finals 2020 Bubble Mickey Mouse Finals, and also the Miami, not Miami, it's Miami. The Miami Heat also advanced to the 2020 Bubble Finals Mickey Mouse Championship. And let's start there. I'm going to give props and do something that I've done plenty of times before, that I have said time and time again, even though I always feel in sports talk today, everything is so narrative driven, especially about basketball, that people only really truly hear what they want to hear and only truly see what they want to see. Because I've said before, I think basketball, out of the 4 major pro sports, and if you want to throw tennis, golf, and NASCAR all in, I honestly think basketball is the easiest manipulated sport by officiating. It's the easiest manipulated sport by players. And it's the easiest manipulative sport as far as sports talk goes. I've had this discussion with sports talk guys before that I stopped watching the NBA for like 3 years, and I'm going to watch the playoffs, of course, because you want to talk the playoffs, but I'm not talking about Orlando and the Grizzlies on a Wednesday night. Nobody's talking about Orlando or the Grizzlies on a Wednesday night, except for the people that cover it and live in Orlando and Memphis. And even they don't want to talk about it. Most times. Sometimes they may. Ja is in Memphis now, so, you know, they got a face, they got a superstar. He won't be there his whole career, just like they lost Gasol, just like they lost Zebo. Guys don't stay in Memphis. The NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, hockey, they're all different in the sense that stars go, other than the NBA, stars just go to teams. They don't really worry about cities. The NBA, it's all about, I got to play in New York. Got to market myself. Got to play in LA. Got to market myself. Got to be in a big market. Got to be in Chicago. Got to be in Miami. Got to be in I know Seattle is a cool demographic. It's a great city. It's not, to me, listen, it's known for its wine. It's seafood that's imported in. The Seattle Sound, a lot of bands have come from Seattle because it's a really big lounge, bar, club type city. If you ever been to Seattle. But you'll be hard pressed to find anybody other than a Russell Wilson that actually loves it there, gonna be there, gonna stay there, doesn't think about leaving, not thinking about being in a bigger demographic or being in a bigger marketplace. He's gonna be there for 12 to 15 years. He'll play quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks. They'll have to drag him off the field. Pete Carroll doesn't, he doesn't ship guys off. A lot of times he waits too long. There's a few Seattle Seahawks guys that have waited. He waited too long on. He probably should have traded, gotten rid of, or cut, let go. Some things happen, injuries. You got some locker room stuff that happened there when Percy Harvin was up there. They probably should let Percy go a little earlier than he did. But he is really committed to his players and to his guys. Russell Wilson's going to be the quarterback there. The NBA is different. The NBA is all about marketability. And I also feel like NBA has the most pampered athletes because anything they want, they ask for, they'll pretty much get. Like, it's the only league you can complain to the league about fouls, and you automatically will see a difference in the following games. You automatically see a difference in the following games. Like, it's a real pampered league. But this idea that you can just go anywhere and win, no, you got to be in a big market. And look what we have for the NBA Finals. You have the Los Angeles Lakers, you have the Miami Heat. Now, I started this rant by saying that I'm going to do something that I've always done before. And that, far and few in between, but I've done it. And I'm going to congratulate the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm going to congratulate the Los Angeles Lakers, and I'm going to do it very professionally and very humbly. And I'm not going to make any excuses for their success this year. We can take LeBron James out of the equation. We know what LeBron is. We know what LeBron's going to give you. We know how the league is judged. We know how the league is officiated. We know LeBron is big, fast, physical. He added the jumper to his game. It's not the best jump shooter, but he added the jumper to his game. Some nights he can get high and go 5 for 7 for 3. Some nights then he can go 2 for 9. I mean, that's LeBron. But you get so many other things. His court vision, his passing, his leadership, just his aura. He's got a very powerful aura. I've never denied that about LeBron. Even though I'm not a LeBron fan, never denied the positives about what he does do and what he brings to the game. So we can take him out of the equation. We know what LeBron is. But I want to talk about guys like Dwight Howard and guys like Anthony Davis and guys like Rajon Rondo, who I was wrong about. I didn't think Rondo. Now, once again, they had the 4-month layoff, but so did every team. So if you want to use it, if you're not a LeBron fan, you want to say, well, they had the 4 months off. Yeah, I get it, but kind of so did everybody else. Did it help a guy like him more? Probably, but he's not the only older guy it helped. I mean, there's probably some older, probably helped a Paul Millsap, who's late middle age, the older player. There's some older guys in the league that helped Rondo. We know Rondo was hurt, came back. Rondo came back to the bubble, got hurt again. But it was so spread out. You still have so much left to play. You had the 18 seeding games that you had the playoffs. They didn't really need him until last round if they really wanted to bring him back. But they needed him for the conference finals. And he showed up when they needed him to show up in the conference finals. Dwight Howard, I have never been enamored with Dwight Howard. I saw the highlights. I saw the greatness that could be. I remember the dunk contests, the Superman, the coming out of the booth and all of that shit. Like, I remember all of that. It was fun and it was cool, but it never enamored me as a fan. And I always thought that he got to the point where he had this huge chip on his shoulder that he didn't know how to really even attack or represent. And it just made him, I mean, if you think about it, guys, Dwight's been through Washington, Houston, the Lakers, was with Orlando. We know him from Orlando. The Lakers' whole thing completely fell apart because Kobe had one practice with him and said, this guy's soft. This guy's too soft. And got in his ass. And then when they got a chance to play against each other, and Dwight tried to be cheap and throw a little cheap elbow, Kobe stepped right in his face like, no, I'm not going to flop and flail back like you millennial players do. Even the major superstars all flopping and shit now. Now I'm going to sit right there, get in your face. Everybody's going to break it up. And I'm going to make sure everybody sees me poke my head out from how to look directly at you in the Staples Center in the game between the Lakers and the Rockets and call you soft and say it 3 or 4 times. So everybody with a smirk, like with the bullshit, like soft. You soft. I told people you were soft before when you got here and you soft now. That's not the Dwight that I see right now. I like this Dwight that I see right now. I don't like all the smiling and the laughing and the giggling and the cheesing and the... You guys remember when Dwight Howard was coming out of high school? He was this devout Christian. Do you guys remember that? He played at a Christian Academy high school. Do you guys remember how he said he would be having Bible study on the back of the buses, on road trips with the players and on the flights and shit like that? Not knowing, bro. Listen, you're here to play. You can do whatever you want to do with your religion, but you're here to play. You're here to change our franchise around. Like, you're here to play. And I think that clicked with Dwight at some point. I don't know when, but this Dwight that I see now the bullshit that he's doing, I guess, to get guys riled up. I think against Miami, it'll cost them. He can't do that in this next series. In this next series, he needs to do what Frank Vogel told him to do, and it's been documented. We don't mind the edginess, but let it come within the game. Don't go out of your way to throw an elbow or to, that's only going to hurt us. Because they do have JaVale McGee, but JaVale McGee is not playing nowhere near the way Dwight Howard's playing right now. And that could be the LeBron effect. Maybe LeBron had to sit down with him and told him, listen, man, don't worry about nothing that happened in the past. We don't care about that. This is what we need you to do for this team and to win a championship this year. Move on to Rajon Rondo. Well, I just said, man, he's too old, and he is old. I said, there's no way that guy's going to be hurt. He gets hurt all the time. That guy's going to be hurt. He's a liability on defense at this point in his career. And they got the time off, and it worked out in their favor. Rajon Rondo is able to play big-time minutes, be effective, play great defense, lead the break, throwing lobs to LeBron, throwing lobs to AD. Like, as for the true Laker hater I am, like, dog, I was even watching the game like, shit. Damn, Rondo, that playoff Rondo shit is real. Playoff Rondo is real. And I've been able to actually really enjoy, I hate to admit this, but I've admitted it before. I've enjoyed actually watching this Laker team. I don't think Denver ever had anything from when you come back from 3-1 back-to-back series. I don't care who you play in the next round. That's a tall order. The AD shot won the series. The AD shot at the end of game 2 won the series. Because if he misses the shot, it's 1-1. Denver won game 3. Now, it's easy to say that. Maybe the Lakers come back and play even harder game 3, knowing that they're tied at 1-1 and they don't want to go down 2-1. Maybe you get that sadistic LeBron that night, 42, 15, and 12. Some shit like that. You get that sadistic Bron. I call him sadistic. When Bron go like that, that's the sadistic. That's the crazy. That's the satanic LeBron right there. He going evil on you. I like that LeBron. I like that any player. Any player who, and when their team needs it most in any sport, shows up and like just gives the other squad the business. I love that. I don't care who it is, even if it's a guy I don't like. To this day, one of the greatest young playoff performances that I ever witnessed in my life was LeBron's Game 5 against my two-time finals appearance, one-time champion, but two-time final appearance, back-to-back finals appearance, Detroit Pistons. The Game 5 up in Detroit. Well, yeah, coaching decided that they thought Jason Maxiell could guard LeBron James. That was a bad coaching strategy. That was a bad coaching decision. And that's how LeBron ended up in his first NBA Finals. So there's been, and I always tell people, that game, you can't even be mad, man. You can't, even if you don't like the guy, what are you going to say? The fall away three from the wing, the corner threes, the driving right by Maxiell and dunking on you guys are going to ISO Jason Maxiell on this kid? And that was young LeBron. That was dribble, hezzy crossover type move. Get shoulder to shoulder. Once I'm shoulder to shoulder, one more big step. I rise higher than you. I'm bigger than you. I'm taller than you. I'm longer than you. With the left hand jam, man, he was busting Detroit's ass. Game 7, they lost Game 7, but Game 7 against the Celtics, 45, 17, 15, just something stupid like that. Like I don't mind that LeBron. I don't. That's buckets, man. That's balling. So even his game the other night, when he smells the team down, I know I say he's a front runner, and I still believe he is. But at least he's good at it. He's good at front runner. He's the best front runner. Him and Dion, I think Dion was a great front runner. Dion talked a lot of shit. But I think Dion, he liked the hot dog and front runner a little bit. I think the difference is some players, when they're losing or game's tight, you don't see nothing out of them. But as soon as they get up and make a play and they know they got the game in hand, they get super hyped about it. But I don't want to go off on that rant. I'm impressed with the Lakers. I've been quietly impressed watching them play the last two series. I didn't think Denver had a shot. I thought Houston had a shot. And I was wrong about that. But I also said that I thought that Houston had to have Harden and Westbrook play out of their minds for 3 games. 3 games, PJ and the others will win you 1, but Westbrook and Harden had to be out of their minds for 3 games. It's like LeBron and AD. They have to be out of their minds for 2 games, and if they do that for 2 games, you're done. You're done. AD is the best player still left in the bubble. It's not LeBron. It's AD right now. Over time, if you ask me, okay, who's a better player overall? It's LeBron. He's had a longer career. He's done it longer. Right now, the best player in the bubble is Anthony Davis. The finals hinges on Anthony Davis. And it's sad to say that because if they don't win, because they're expected to, they're favored. I'll check the line here real quick because I got, the Vanilla Sports Talk Batcave in home, man. I got damn near, I got 4 phones set up, 2 computers. I want to thank everybody listening to VJs on Sportsmanlike Conduct, live on Spreaker.com. Also, everybody, thanks for joining in on Facebook Live with Vesta Networking and also on my IG Live. So, hey, what's going on, Mama? Feeling Serenity. What's going on, Waving Mama? Appreciate you joining the live viewers that I have over here. The one, I don't trip over live viewers because I just keep reposting and replaying it. People got lives. I'm not about live. My live viewers, they kind of matter for me on Spreaker and iHeart. But once again, I don't listen to a lot of live radio myself. Like I have NFL Network on right now, and we'll get into the NFL because right now it's popping. The NFL's popping right now. No fans. Like it's the weirdest thing to sit and watch, but it's popping right now. We watch NBA games like they look like the bubble before. We watch AAU tournaments. We watch high school tournaments. We watch stuff on TV that's looked like that before. That's not new to us. The NFL, empty stadiums, complete empty stadiums, is totally new for the NFL fan and for the football fan. Even college. I watched a bunch of college games this weekend, and we'll get to some college football. College had fans at every damn game. There wasn't an empty stadium in college football. Some fans had 25,000, some stadiums had 25,000 fans. Now the capacity is 62, 63. You have to cut it down by a certain percentage, but some of the numbers I heard this weekend let me know. College football is like, we're gonna play. The Big Ten starts on October 24th, 25th, 26th that weekend. They start with a a Friday night game, and then they have their normal, Friday and Saturday, game, tilts. SEC started this past weekend. The Big 12 is going to start November 1st and November 2nd. I told people all along, they're going to get the season in. They just got to figure it out. I was heartbroken when college football got canceled. I was heartbroken. Anybody that knows me and follows me knows how much I love college football. High school football, college football, and then the NFL. That's the order it goes for me. I am so depressed, and I'm hiding my depression right now, and it's professional depression. There's no games to cover. There's no high school football in Southern California. The college level Division I FCS that I cover, the championship series. No games. No games. They've canceled their entire schedules across the board. They may try to bring them back in November, but I don't see that happen. I think maybe in the spring if they want to try to do a spring thing. But I have no games to go to. This time last year, I was on the road. This time last year, I would have been relaxing on a Monday morning, coming off of a flight from a college football stadium somewhere in the Western Seaboard. Because last year I did Idaho, I did the Dakotas, Oregon. I was in Utah twice, and then a bunch of schools here in California. All my high school games were here in SoCal. Whether it was 45 minutes, 3 hours, I've drove 3 hours to games. To call games in Southern California. You're dealing with Friday traffic in LA. And you live in the Valley and I got a game in Huntington Beach. That's a long ass driving on a Friday. It's really a 50-minute drive, but on a Friday it's a 3-hour drive. Game kicks at 7:30. You want to be there by 4 or 5 o'clock to get set up. walk the field, talk to the players and coaches if you can. I just love soaking in the atmosphere. You see the kids that hung around and didn't go home. They're just going to stay and hang out there. Some of these schools got big money out here, so they order the food trucks come show up and park on their campuses. And it was so enjoyable for me last year, and I don't have that right now. I'm ready to jump out of a fucking window. I'm dead ass serious. I'm ready to jump out of a fucking window because I don't have any college football to call. I don't have any high school football. I love high school football. High school football is the shit. High school football is the best sport in America. There's not a better sport than high school football. Everybody can relate to high school football in one way or another. You either went to the games, you played in the games, you cheered at the games, you worked the concession stands. If you were a bandie, you were in the band, so you were at all the fucking games if you were in the band. You went to other schools, you battled other bands on the field. Like, high school football, everybody is connected to it one way or another, and I miss it a lot. But to finish up my opening rant on the Lakers, and I'll leave it at this, super impressed. Not even gonna hate, even though I'm a huge Laker hater. I hope they lose this shit. I ain't gonna lie to you. I hope they lose. But if they don't, I'll come on here as a man, as a radio man. I always am. I admit I was wrong. I'll give props to all the Laker fans. I'll open up the call line, let y'all call in, talk your shit to me, rip me. It's all good. But I hope y'all, let's go Heat. Let's go Heat. Let's go Heat. Shit. I do not need the Lakers to win this championship. They haven't won since I moved back to LA. I don't need this from these damn LA fans out here. I don't need to listen to the home radio talk about their championship for 8 straight days on the radio. Then jump to the Rams, then dog the Chargers, and then talk about the Lakers championship and how they're the best franchise ever in the galaxy of sports. Gag me with a fucking spoon, man. But I'm impressed. I'm impressed. LeBron's doing him. Super impressed with AD. Very impressed with Rondo. Very impressed with Dwight Howard. Those guys right there, Caruso, and I don't trust a white basketball player with a bald head and a headband. I just don't. I just don't. I don't trust a white basketball player with a bald head, and not a bald head because you want a bald head because your shit is receding. Your shit is going away. And you trying to shade a joint, but you put a headband on, you look like a roll of deodorant. Like you look like roll-on deodorant when you do that. And when your joint is pale. Like, I don't trust him. Danny Green, check the playoffs last year's, guys. This ain't nothing new. People are just going on the name. He's not playing well at all, but they don't need him to. Caldwell Pope, hit him when he need to. Morris, hit him when he need to. And JaVale, jump around, flail around, flap around, get some rebounds, some putbacks, some tip rebounds, tip it out offensively. Laker guard gets it, you get another possession, shit like that. Yeah, that's cool. But the way Dwight's playing, the way LeBron's playing, and LeBron's not playing great. He's playing good, though, but he's not playing great. He had a great game. I don't get fooled by triple-double because people said Westbrook did it 3 straight seasons, and people saying he's stat stuff. So I don't get enamored with triple-double. Even with Luka, okay, it's cool. But I mean, in today's game, there's so much free flow. You can't touch anybody. Dog, the passing lanes are there. Open shots are there. The lane is there to drive. You can drive. Y'all see my finger roll? Shit. Oh, shit. Y'all see my shit? The lanes are there. So you can get in the lane and score. But buckets is nothing today. We watched Tyler Hero get 37 in a Eastern Conference Finals game. If that was the 80s or 90s, you guys know somebody would have put him down. Like, hold on, homie. Nah, we ain't getting beat by Tyler Hero. And I'm not knocking Hero. But there's certain superstars, they're not getting beat by Tyler Hero. And we'll talk about Boston, too, because Boston was my pick to come out of the Eastern Conference, and Boston let me down. And I got one thing to say. Shout out to my man Dwayne Davis, because he thought the same thing I thought. So was it Kyrie's fault? Just like in Chicago, was it Jimmy Butler? In Minnesota, was it Jimmy Butler? With the Philadelphia 76ers, was it Jimmy Butler? But you put Jimmy Butler with Tyler Hero, Goran Dragic, Bam Adebayo, bunch of other guys most of y'all can't name. Got Crowder. A lot of people thought Crowder was just this. You got to think about it. Remember, Crowder's been on Boston Eastern Conference Finals. Crowder was in Atlanta Eastern Conference Finals. Crowder's been on teams that have gotten deep into the playoffs. But you didn't think you were going to add Jimmy Butler to that and be in the NBA Finals. So was it Butler? Just like it was it Kyrie? Rashad Mitchell, what's going on, buddy? My man Luis Estrada, what's up? Yo, Luis, if you're not busy, call in, homie. Call in if you're not busy, bro. If you're still listening, you're still watching, call in. I want to talk to you about your Lakers just real fast. But on to college football. College football was outstanding the other night. I just sat around. I watched college football all day long with my son. I watched college football pretty much all day long. And I'm talking, bell to bell, wire to wire. We watched a ton of college football games. And there were some takeaways that I had this weekend with coaching. There's some takeaways I had this weekend with the players. What I think this season is going to be is really my first time talking any real college football. So, but to interrupt that real quick, let me jump on over. My man Luis Estrada from Luis Sports House is calling in live, man. What's going on, baby? How you doing?
I'm doing great. How you doing? I just finished up some DDP yoga. Saw you on, bro. And now I'm happy, bro.
Yeah, you was doing DDP yoga?
Yes, sir.
Ah, okay. I ain't mad at the DDP yoga, man. That's good stuff right there. I'm sitting here as you saw me on the I didn't have it up in my hand, but I got my green juice here, and I'm sitting here trying to do these damn home workouts since the gyms closed back down out here in Los Angeles. But I'm about to lose my fucking mind, man. Like, I need a gym, bro.
Well, I'll tell you what, bro. I've been doing this DDP yoga for about 12, 13 years on and off. And, long story short, the reason I got into the media was because of Diamond Dallas Page and meeting him and his yoga stuff. That really kind of kickstarted my career and my passion again for getting into sports radio. So I've been doing this for a long, long time, and I actually just ordered his updated set. So, just getting a little work at him before work, man.
Oh, okay. So real quick, man, and we'll get into some NFL. I'm a Laker hater. I don't like the Lakers at all. I don't like LeBron. So this is like a double whammy for me. But like you've been following me. We've been friends and radio colleagues for years now. I'm a guy that I talk a lot of shit, but I will always stand up and give props when props is due. And I quietly really enjoyed watching the Lakers play over the last, I would say maybe 6 or 7 games because of the White I'm seeing, the Rondo I'm seeing. LeBron's LeBron. But AD is just, the guy gets ripped for 27 and a 27-9 game in game 1 against Houston. He turns around and he, scores 30-some points, they win. But there's been other games where just the other night they were on him about his rebounds, right? You can't get, 2 rebounds. But then the next night he only had 3 and he had 34 points. So it's like, people want to use him for the scapegoat, but I'm just so impressed at how he plays. He doesn't have a go-to move, Luis. He's just got game, bro. Like, he really does. And maybe I was wrong. I thought he was a little thin-skinned and a little easily manipulated because of the way the whole New Orleans things went down. But, maybe playing with LeBron did toughen this guy up or the ability to go win a championship or what have you, man. But listen, I was wrong. And I'm still going for the Heat. It ain't going to change, man. I ain't going to start going for... I'm still going for the fucking Heat, okay? But I really do feel like you guys are going to win this championship.
Well, I'll tell you what. There's something that happened with this team, and I'm going to take it back to that really just crappy day in January, because I'm not one for... I'm a believer in karma, but there's just... This can get into some divine intervention kind of crap, whether you believe in it or not. There's just been something with this team since that day.
Yeah.
And I'm not someone who's going to say when something bad, tragic happens to an organization that they always come out on top. But if you notice that when something does happen, those teams tend to do very, very well. And they use things as a battle cry. They use things as a way to come together. And since that day, this team really kind of came together, I feel. And it's easy to say that, but the thing being is, after a while, that kind of goes away. You stop hearing guys talking about it. You stop hearing people referencing it. You stop hearing it just kind of like is a footnote. With this team, it's different. If you look at Game 5 in the Arrivals, what is Dwight Howard wearing as he's coming to the arena? A Kobe jersey, a number 8 Kobe jersey. They've got the patches on the uniforms. They are wearing the Kobe blackout Mamba, uniforms during the playoffs. This team has really rallied around the Kobe Bryant passing, and I really feel like they've taken it to heart. Now, one of the things that you can sit here and say is, oh, well, maybe not, but they keep talking about it. If you listen to their interviews, you listen to them talk, they're still talking Kobe. Everybody's talking Kobe. I really believe that was a rallying cry for this team, and that whether they are going to say it publicly or not, I really feel like they came together and are saying, okay, we want to do this for him, for his legacy. And it sounds cheesy, it sounds all of that kind of stuff, but it just, there's been too many, if you want to call them coincidences, in the bubble. You'll remember they played a game on August 24th, 8/24.
Yeah.
That never happens because that's usually the off season. In that game, I forget who they were playing. Lakers were up at one point, 24-8, early in the game.
Yeah, they were. They were.
There was a timeout, I think twice in that game at 8 minutes and 24 seconds. The Lakers scored 80 points in the first half of that game, one shy of Kobe's high of 81. There was just too many coincidences in that game. There's been too many coincidences since then, and I firmly believe that they came together after that. They are using it not just as motivation for themselves, but for him, and I really believe, it just feels like they believe it more than I've ever seen. And I think that's been a rallying cry. You talked about AD. Now,
I want to respond to that first point because I have this big smile on my face because I never thought about it that way. I never thought about it that way, divine intervention. Listen, January 25th will probably go down as, if not one of the top 2 or 3 saddest and most tragic days in sports history. Period.
Oh, absolutely.
Period. Yeah, absolutely. Period. Like, it took the world down. It didn't take a city down. It didn't take a franchise, a state, a region, a country. It took the globe down. It was like when Michael Jackson died. When Michael Jackson died, it took the globe down. Everybody was hurt over it. Like, the majority of the humans that knew him or knew of him were down about, like, we're fucked up. We're really hurt about that. So the divine intervention you speak of is really true. It's a good point. I try not to look at it or try not to stay in that realm of it because then, and I'm just being honest, then it opens the door for me to dub this as LeBron only got that ring because Kobe's spirit helped him to it.
Sure.
And I don't want to be that guy, but you gotta give me the window.
Of course. Well, but look, you know my feelings on LeBron. We all know I've been very vocal about it. I'm not a LeBron fan. I'm not a LeBron guy. Is the guy balling out right now? Yes. The one thing that, and you've said this before, the one thing that you and I have never done, we've never questioned how good he is on the court.
No.
We've questioned other things, but we've never questioned how good he is on the court.
No.
That being said, right now he looks dialed in. You talked about AD. The first time I saw AD in person he was still with New Orleans. And what impressed me the most was his footwork, was the way he moved around the basket, the way he pivoted, the way he could get from the free throw line to the rim in a step.
Mm-hmm.
His little fadeaways that he had. Those were the things that really impressed me with AD. You're right, he doesn't have a go-to shot, and that's scary.
It's scary as shit. It's scary as shit because you don't know what to do.
Right? If he developed a go-to move, whether it's a baby hook, a little 10-foot fade away, whatever it is, imagine how much more dangerous he would be. I mean, the guy isn't balling out. we talk about the 2-rebound game the other day. The only reason that was a big deal is because they lost. If they win that game, nobody's talking about it.
No one's talking about it. No, exactly. And the next night he had 3 rebounds and no one said a word.
Right. Why? Because they won, and they won going away. So it's not like it's like the old adage: winning cures everything.
Yeah.
And in this case, it does. You talk. This is going to be a fun series. This is going to.
Oh, I think so. What do you got? 6, 7? What do you think? I know you're picking the Lakers as you should. I know you're picking the Lakers as you should. But what do you got? 6, 7, 5?
I got 6.
Lakers in 6.
I think Miami. Yeah, I think Miami. What I like about Miami, yes, you talk about Jimmy Butler, you talk about the guys that they have, but they got a lot of depth. They got a lot of. They're kind of like the Lakers, where the Lakers got their big 2, and then they don't have that third guy. They have a lot of guys that on any given night can be that third guy, or a collection of guys that can be that third guy. Miami's kind of the same way. You've got Butler, you've got Bam, and then one night it might be Tyler Hero. Another day it might be Rajon.
Well, Goran's leading them in scoring in the Eastern Conference Finals, so he led him in scoring. Right. So he's their number 1 right now.
He is right now, absolutely. But that's what I'm saying. They don't have that traditional number 3, even number 2. What they remind me of, DJ? They remind me a lot of your 2004 Pistons, with the exception of they do have that one legitimate star in Jimmy Butler, where those Pistons, they had a lot of really, really good guys, but I don't know if you would call any of them, quote, a star. Like, I love Chunky Billups, Rip Hamilton, Tayshaun Prince. I thought they were all really, really good players.
Rasheed Wallace, Ben Wallace.
Which you would consider superstars, but they were all really good, solid players, and that's what Miami reminds me of.
Something else about this finals, too, and see, the divine intervention, I take Kobe out of it. The divine intervention I'm looking at is you got Pat Riley, you got Eric Spoelstra, who LeBron wanted fired. The reason why he left Miami is because Pat Riley wouldn't fire Eric Spoelstra. I don't care what nobody says or however they try to cover it up, which they probably should. It's old news. I get it. If I worked for one of those franchises, I'd be like, look, man, that's old stuff. We're on to the NBA Finals right now. We don't care nothing about that. Correct answer. But if there's anybody that I think is matched best for what the Lakers do right now as opposed to what they do, is the Miami Heat. But they also have the coaching staff that knows the ins and outs of LeBron. And, Jimmy Butler. The one thing about the Heat players that I like, and I think Boston didn't have that, and that's why they lost that series, is the Heat they're not scared of anybody. They don't have that. There's not a player, there's not a player that Morris can go to on the Heat and try to trip up or try to do anything dirty without Jimmy Butler or Bam Adebayo or Andre Iguodala or Jay Crowder, one of those guys, stepping up and defending that player, stepping up and defending that. When you look at sometimes some of these teams that have a lot of stars on them, there's not really the one thing I would look at the Lakers, I go, where is their toughness? They haven't been pushed to a tough level. You played Portland, then you played a smaller Rockets, and then you played a very kind of low emotional Denver Nugget team. They haven't played a team yet that has that height, that has that high energy that will talk back to you, will get back. And I knew the series was over with the Nuggets. I think it was in game 3 after, game 2. When LeBron got the and one and was yelling and looking right at the player, yelling and one, and the Lakers kind of were like an early mid to first quarter run. I said this series is over because you rarely see the Lakers talk shit like they talk in the night, but they know they got this team down. They know this team's done. They know this team don't have. They know this team don't have it. Now Nuggets have to try to fight back in that game, which they did. AD hits the 3. Series is over. AD hits the 3 and the ball goes in that net. The series is done.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, the series is done. The only reason why they got game 3, and it could have easily been 2-1, but it wasn't. At the end of the day, people could have, it could easily be 2, but it's not. It's 2-0. It's 2-0 Lakers, and they'll lose the night, but then they'll finish this thing off kind of like they did. But that's the divine intervention I look at, is the fact that he's going back against Spoelstra. He's going back against Pat Riley. I think there's more storylines there, and I don't think either side will speak on it. LeBron would be more liable to speak on it than they will because he likes to talk and hear himself talk. I think Pat Riley and Spoelstra would want no parts of that discussion. Say, look, we're not even thinking that. We ain't going. We're not going there with y'all. We're ready to win. We're worried about 2020. And LeBron probably would do the same, but I could see him if he got pushed or felt some kind of way to kind of, I don't want to say send shots, but just little subtle jabs. But I think that's more of a storyline. The Kobe intervention stuff is fine, but the fact that he's going against Pat Riley and who got him there and got him his championships, and Eric Spoelstra, who coached him, who he wanted fired, I think there's a bigger storyline there.
Oh, without a doubt. Storyline, once the Lakers clinched Game 5, it didn't matter who was coming out of the East because you had storylines, abound. You got the Miami Heat storylines, like you said, with Eric Spoelstra, Pat Riley. You got to even put in Andre Iguodala in there, for all of his time with the Golden State Warriors playing against LeBron. Or if you go the other side and Boston wins, guess what? Now you got Lakers Celtics in the bubble. Lakers going for 17, Boston going for 18. That would have been another great storyline. That team also
2 years ago was in the Eastern Conference Finals in the Game 7 and lost at home with no Kyrie, I believe, and no Hayward. Yep, no Kyrie, no Hayward, and took that game and took that series to Game 7. So there would be a rematch there. But I was wrong about Boston. I just like I defended Jimmy Butler with Chicago, Minnesota, and Philly, where the narrative was he was the issue because he was so tough on his guys. He expected greatness, or expected at least for his guys to be harder, play harder, move harder, pick harder, block hard. Fucking play, man. Play hard. I play hard. Y'all are great, but y'all don't play hard. Like, Embiid don't play. I can name him. Karl Anthony Towns does not play hard all the time. Embiid does not play hard all the time. Ben Simmons does not play hard all the time. Jimmy Butler plays hard all the time. Russ Westbrook plays hard all the time. Kobe Bryant played hard all the time. Ron Artest played hard all the time. There's certain players, they play hard all the time. They don't take no. Stockton was like that. Malone was like that. They play hard all the time, not just sometime. And with Kemba, I thought Kemba might have been the good, was a good signing, but I think, Kyrie gets such a bad knock because he played with LeBron, and he knew that, and that's why he wanted out of there. He wanted out of there to kind of reset his career because he didn't want to be attached to being LeBron's little brother or some shit like that. Remember one time when they said LeBron's like a father figure, and he laughed at the reporters like, "No, I have a father already. My father is such and such Irving Sr." You know what I mean? He wanted away from that, but he was supposed to be the problem in Boston. Remember? Kyrie was supposed to be the problem, and you got rid of him, and you brought in Kemba, and you couldn't even get to 6 games. Excuse me. Well, yeah, they got the 6. You couldn't even come out the East, and you should have.
Right.
So
exactly. Look, people have a problem with guys that want to play hard because it's like Kobe Bryant told Dwight Howard one time: winning's not for everybody. Winning's not for everybody. You got to put in the work. It doesn't just happen like it does maybe in high school when you're that big stud, or you're in college. You got to, once you get to this level, you got to work. And we've talked about this. One of the things that for me separates good from great is that evolution in your own game, is that work that you want to put in. Some guys want to do it, some guys don't. And it's that simple. That's why you have greatness like Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Julius Erving, Elgin Baylor, Jerry West, and so on and so on. And then you got guys like Karl Anthony Towns, guys like D'Angelo Williams, who are just kind of happy to be there, getting their money, and they don't really want to seem to take that next step. And that's the difference between
Tracy McGrady fits that. Tracy McGrady fits that for me too.
Not great.
Yeah, Tracy McGrady fits that for me too. I can't believe he's a Hall of Famer. I really can't. To this day, I'm flabbergasted how guys in the Hall of Fame, I have questions about Reggie Miller being a Hall of Famer. I just do. It's bro, you guys can, good guard, good shooter, good guard, made some all-star teams, but had one shot at really, really, being great and getting. By the time they got, in my opinion, by the time they got to the finals against the Lakers, Reggie was on kind of like the back of his prime. He was on the back end of his prime because Kobe just laced his ass.
Oh yeah,
Kobe laced his ass. So he was on the back of his prime. And then when he got back to the Eastern Conference Finals against the Pistons, that was Ron Artest and Jermaine O'Neal's team. He was just a guy who could still hit the three for you. We saw the legs on the Tayshaun Prince block. Like Reggie Miller should have dunked that or got way higher than it. Those were old man legs, and Tayshaun was a young horse.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when you talk about guys playing tough, to me, Trey are playing hard. The game was easy to Trace. He could score, but I just never thought I ever saw him play hard for a long consistency time in his career. Spots, yeah, but just like Kevin Garnett played hard every fucking night, every minute. He never took a minute off.
Let me throw this one at you. Luka Doncic is in his second year, and he had a really good second year. He had a really good playoff run, even though they lost in 6 games to the Clippers. But he came out. You might remember this. He came out, I believe it was earlier this year, and said it was easier to score in the NBA than it was over in Europe.
Yeah.
Now, if he says that in the 80s or 90s, who's the first person that knocks him on his butt? Charles Oakley? Rick Mahorn?
Yeah.
Meta World Peace?
Yeah.
But now
Mahorn, keep going. Oakley, Mason, Mahorn. Shit, right. Man. There was some Robert Parrish would throw a shoulder into you. There was some old school guy, Moses Malone. There were some old school guys that you couldn't, John Sally, Rodman, you couldn't talk that type of shit. You're right.
Right. But nowadays he says that freely and nobody bats an eye.
Because it is easy to score.
It's a completely different game. And speaking, we haven't been on the air in a little bit, so I'm going to say this real fast.
All right.
I know you talked about it on your show because I was listening, but I couldn't get on. The day the Clippers lost Game 7 to the Denver Nuggets, I was doing cartwheels in my hotel room.
Yeah.
I was as happy could be. And I'm going to tell you why. I know, a lot of people were saying, oh, it's just Clipper hating, it's just Clipper this. No. Hold on. Slow your roll. First and foremost, what do I have to hate about the Clippers? What have they ever
They ain't never won shit. Exactly. They ain't never won shit.
They've never won. Even when the years they were supposed to be competitive, they still have never gotten past the second round.
Yep.
Even with this team. You know why I was happy? Now, a lot of people were, especially Laker fans, happy for several reasons. It's not just Kawhi. It's also because Paul George. Now, you say, well, what about why Paul George? Well, people forget how he spurned the Lakers in his free agency. He didn't even give up Magic and Rob Pelinka a meeting. He re-signed with OKC at a party when he was supposed to have a meeting with the Lakers. Spurned them last minute, didn't come, and re-signed with OKC. Then you had Kawhi Leonard do what he did last year. Now,
Kawhi was never going to come play for. He was never going to come play with LeBron, bro. He wants to play against LeBron.
And that's fine. But here was always my issue with my attitude is, you're a free agent. Go sign wherever the hell you want, right? You've earned that. But if you have no intention to sign, why stranglehold the team? Why keep that?
Because that's just what people do in free agency. Nah, Luis, I'm not letting you have that, Estrada. I'm not letting you have that one. That's what people do, bro. That's what athletes do. Man, DeAndre Jordan had a handshake, man-to-man, balls-to-balls agreement with Mark Cuban and let 3 players and a coach come barricade him in his own house and then put the shit on social media that there was a chair in front of the door.
Absolutely. I'm not saying it's right. I know that it happens. My attitude is, if you're a superstar and you're not, quote, afraid of anybody, then let other teams go about their business. Let them go.
I feel you, bro. That's just not how the game is played, though, man. That's not. Come on, your boy that's here now. He took visits. Remember the one year everybody thought LeBron was going to the Knicks and Dwight was going to Brooklyn? And KD was going to Brooklyn, and everybody started even making the trades on 2K and downloading new rosters and shit. You remember that year? It's like, bro, and none of those moves worked out. Nobody went where anybody thought they were going. Not one player.
No. No, not at all. But see, that's the funny thing. Like, everybody was said, oh, yeah, KD and Kyrie to the Knicks, this and this and that. You had told me a year before LeBron was going to L.A. You told me that.
Yeah. I told people when he was in Miami, he was going back to Cleveland. I got shows I got shows saved on my channel on Spreaker. You can go back and listen. When he was in Miami, the year Ray Allen hit the three to send that game 6 in the overtime, that's the year I said he's going back to Cleveland. If he wins 1 or 2 more rings in Miami, he's going back to Cleveland. Yeah, I was saying that shit. Yeah,
you were ahead on that.
In 2 years before he left, I said, "Dude, he's coming to L.A." Yeah, he's coming to L.A.
People were like, "Oh, it's coming out of the blue." I've been hearing that for a year.
Yeah,
I've been hearing it for a long time. Like let's not get a newsflash or anything like that. But look, one of the rumors we're hearing really strong right now is Giannis to Golden State. We've been hearing that one for the last 6 weeks,
and it'll never happen because if I were him, I'd go to Miami.
I'm up for him going wherever he wants to go.
Yeah, if I were him, I'd go to Miami.
But here's the thing: your reaction to that, it'll never happen. That's what everybody said about KD to Golden State, and it happened.
Nah, that shit came from the KD to Golden State thing came out of nowhere, bro.
No, I had been hearing that for a year. It was from the thing.
Really? Oh, you had the inside over. Yeah, you had the inside over me on that one.
Throughout that entire last year, that he wanted out of OKC and he wanted to go to Golden State. It just wasn't reported anywhere. I had been hearing it all over the place. So then when it actually happened, everyone was like, "Whoa, that's out of the blue," and I was like, "How is that out of the blue? I've been knowing about this for a while."
That's why they pay you the big bucks, Estrada.
Yeah, right. I wish.
That's why they pay you the big bucks, man. Hey, look, go ahead in your business, brother. I'm gonna get back to talking to college football and some NFL before I get off. I cut the show down. Remember, I used to do like 2.5 hour, 3 hour shows. I cut it down to like an hour 15, hour and 20. Get some good points out, some hardcore talk, and get on, get off, and move on to other projects and things that I got going. So I want to get my college and my NFL and my picks in. How your picks going? How's your fantasy going this year so far?
So far, I'm all right. I'm 2-1 right now. I dropped one this weekend because of the late scratch of DJ Chark in Jacksonville. That cost me. I ended up losing by 5 points. But 2-1 right now. I'm feeling pretty good.
Okay, yeah, I got 4 teams right now, and I'm 2-0. Well, now 3-0 in 2 of them, 2-1 in 1 of them, and 1-2 in 1 of them. I lost McCaffrey on one squad. I lost Michael Thomas. I lost McCaffrey, Michael Thomas. There's somebody else, another offensive player that I lost. Or was a late scratch. But my quarterbacks this year, I think one team I got Lamar, Cam, D Watts. I went the black quarterback route on all my teams except for I do have Mahomes. Well, I guess people. They want to call him black, but I don't know. That's a different discussion for a different show. But I got Mahomes as one of my quarterbacks on my team. But it's going to be tough, man, because more bodies are going to start falling. You saw Devontae Adams was out last night. Julio was a late scratch yesterday, so I had to pull him out. So I got no Julio points. Ridley's holding me down. I mean, I got some players that's doing well, but it's only week 3, man. It's only a twisted knee or sprained ankle, and your fantasy team is your fantasy team is fucked. Fantasy little tidbit for you though. Go get the Colts defense if you can.
Oh yeah, no, I went to look for them last week. Couldn't get them. I got the Rams defense in mind. It was funny.
Oh, they got tore up yesterday.
I was able to pick DeAndre Hopkins I got the 12 out of 12 in my league. And I got DeAndre Hopkins was my first pick. Josh Jacobs was my second pick.
Oh.
I was like, all right, I'm feeling pretty good. And the funny thing with the Hopkins was he was rated 20th in my league. And I'm like, nah, he's going to blow up over there. So I go pick him up right away. I picked him up before Julio. Julio was still on the board.
Yeah, I have Kyler and D Hop on one team. But one of my rules is I try to match a receiver with whoever my quarter. Like on one of my teams, I have Tariq, Kelsey, and Mahomes.
Woo.
Oh yeah. I just went because I had picks 11 and 12. So
nice.
Yeah, exactly. When you got back to back, when you got 12 and 13, when you got if you're a 10-man league, picks 10 and 11. So if you got 10 and 11, I always tell people the smartest thing to do at that point is go best quarterback on the board, best receiver on the board, but try to match it. And I did that on 2 teams. I went Kyler, D Hop, And on the other team, I went Tariq, Mahomes, and nobody's drafted a quarterback in the third round. So the third round, I said, fuck it, I'll just go get Kelsey now. And I know at least those 3 spots, if they're not injured, that's 15 or more points out of there. 60 points plus. And Mahomes will have a 38 night. He'll have a 37 game, a 30 game. He'll have some big games this year, so he'll make up for he'll make up for other lost positions. But one of my big rules is if you can get a quarterback and his number 1 target early in the draft, do that because it's a passing league.
Oh, absolutely. If you can, absolutely. I know I was able to, I'll tell you what, last week, I was able to pick up a decent tight end in like the 8th round, Mark Andrews from Baltimore. He's put together two nice games. Not great, but decent. But my favorite pick was the last pick. I was able to pick up Joshua Kelly from the Chargers. I'm a big Joshua Kelly guy. He's been playing well. I'll ride with him for a little bit. Number 17 pick. I'll take it.
They blew yesterday's game. Carolina did play well, so I'm not going to knock Carolina played well, but the Chargers blew. I actually DVR'd. I DVR'd like 4 games yesterday because I have access to all the games here on this link that I have. So I DVR'd like 4 games, and even up until late last night, I stayed up and watched like tons of football. So I watched the whole Chargers game. I watched the whole Dallas game. I watched the whole Rams game. I watched the whole Bucks game. I watched the whole Raider game. I watched like 6 full, and then of course the Packers and Saints. I watched 6 full NFL games yesterday from beginning to end. Skip through the commercials and shit, but pretty much every play. And the Chargers was one of the games that was to me that was a great football game. It was physical, it was defense. You got some offensive plays, but the Chargers blew that game. But I like their team. And I like their defense, man. Even with no Derwin James, and they lost another defensive player, another either linebacker or defensive lineman last week to a season-ending injury. They have a really, really good football team. You're going to get the rookie mistakes out of Herbert. I still think he was the better pick over Tua, and I'll stand on that until I'm proven wrong. I wanted Miami. If Miami took Herbert would be playing in Miami right now, and Fitzpatrick would be your emergency backup quarterback. Because Tyrod Taylor's job is done. I don't care what happens with the punctured lung. Even when he's healthy, he's not the quarterback of that team anymore. Justin Herbert is. Yeah, Justin Herbert is. And Eckler, great young. I love his story. Found out a lot about him yesterday, hearing the commentaries and then doing some small research about where he's come from, how far he's come. The reason why they thought they can move on from Melvin Gordon, because remember when they moved on from Melvin Gordon, a lot of people, even with Melvin Gordon being injured, it's like, okay, well, damn, what are you going to do? You're moving on from Melvin Gordon. Well, who the hell are you going to play then if you're not going to play Melvin Gordon? So, but it showed, no, we got a guy here that we like. And then, of course, Keenan Allen, their tight ends. They got a real good football team. They blew yesterday's game, though. There's no way in hell they should have lost that game to Carolina yesterday. And Carolina might have, no, never mind. I won't go over it. I won't go over the line. I was going to say Carolina might have saved their season, but I still don't believe in Teddy Bridgewater. There's no McCaffrey for the next 5 weeks at least. So that team's gonna suffer. They're gonna lose their next few games.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was a good game. My favorite game yesterday was the Bills Rams. I thought it was a great game, good comeback, and then just a great drive by Josh Allen and the Bills at the end. The Bills are legit. The Rams are legit. It was a great game.
The Rams got defensive problems. No, the Rams got defensive problems. They have, and it's funny, and it's really weird because they literally have 2 of the best defensive players in the league. You would agree with that, right? They have 2 of the top 12 or 15 defensive players in the league. They have the best defensive lineman in football, and they have one of the top 2 or 3 corners in football. But they give up the Stephon Diggs. He put a lesson on Jalen Ramsey yesterday that I never would have expected.
Oh, Stephon Diggs right now is playing on another level.
Yeah, he's what Minnesota. Right he's what Minnesota's missing. Minnesota, honestly, it's not Kirk Cousins. It's not Minnesota's missing their other star receiver they let get away in free agency.
Oh, without a doubt. Look, there was 2 really bad trades in the offseason with receivers. One, and we've touched on both of them. DeAndre Hopkins to Arizona was stupid by Houston. I said it the day it happened. I even texted you about it.
Yep.
And then when Minnesota traded Stephon Diggs, that was dumb. You had a great tandem there with Diggs and Thielen that could play off each other. Gave you Cousins 2 great targets with Kyle Rudolph, being your tight end, and they threw that away. So now you're seeing the problems. When you have a legitimate number 1 receiver, you trade him away for nothing. You give Josh Allen an actual legit guy, not a Sammy Watkins or one of these Johnny-come-latelys. but you get a legit number one guy with the running back, with the legs that Josh Allen has. Now you see what he can do. I'll tell you what, those are big mistakes by the Texans and by the Minnesota Vikings, and they're hurting for it. Absolutely hurting for it.
Yeah, both are going to end up. Like I said, the Vikings. They're missing their guy. The simple as that. I don't know what was going on with Diggs in the front office or the coaching staff. I know there was some sideline blowups and stuff, but I'm just a firm believer. If you're winning, you got to figure out how to work through some of that stuff. Now, if the ownership wants to move on, then there's nothing the coach or a player can do. The ownership wants to move on. The ownership makes a move. All right, that's cool. But if the ownership comes in and goes, you guys work this out.
Yeah,
you guys work this out.
I'll let you get on with your show. Hey, just know I'm always listening, brother. And
appreciate you, man. Tell the family I said what's up and happy Halloween.
You too, the same.
All right.
Give all my best to Renell and your beautiful boy Cam.
I appreciate it, man. All right, Luis. My man Luis Estrada from Elite Sports. Also Spectrum Network out here that covers the Lakers and the Kings, Dodgers, SC football, SC sports. So, all right, so let's move on. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to move on from college football. We'll do college football tomorrow. Huh? Is that cool, everybody? We'll do college football tomorrow because I want to get to these NFL games. And like I said, I'm really keeping myself on a strict time limit with my show. We're at 1 hour and 2 minutes right now. I used to do 2 hours, 2.5, 3 hour shows, but I felt like a lot of times I was just rambling and talking. I don't like doing that. Cut it down, 1.5 hours, hour 15, hour 20 minutes, somewhere in there. Plus, you guys get bored anyway, and as you're swiping and listening, you see a fat ass or some big titties come across the screen. You ain't hearing nothing I'm saying anyway. Or ladies, lately, if the picture of Method Man from the new Power Show and his great little boxers pop up, you ain't listening to me no more. I see y'all posting that shit. I ain't mad at you. Do what you do. I ain't no hater. I mean, hey, I ain't looking at it. I mean, if it's what you like, like Digital Underground used to say, do what you like. All right, NFL this weekend, just some real quick tidbits. I'll go over all my picks, all my scores. As I'm looking at teams, I just want to give some really quick tidbits and hits about my team. So we'll start with the Giants. Listen, the Giants, no Saquon Barkley, it's done. Daniel Jones, he needs a running back. He needs a star player. He's the best player on the team. When an NFL team loses their best player, you can probably guarantee that they're not going to be that good of a team that season, or they'll be a middle-of-the-road team. Saquon Barkley is clearly their best player. He is out for the rest of the year. You can bring in Devontae Freeman all you want to. You still don't have your offensive line together. You still don't have your defense together. Your defense gives up all types of points. Your best defensive player now plays in Seattle with Russell Wilson. So what do you expect if you're the Giants? The Patriots. The Patriots are doing something so simple right now. They're fool's goaling everybody, but they're going to fool's goal their way to 11-5, 12-4, a bye or maybe a home playoff game in the first round, in the divisional round of the playoffs. And that's because they're not making things harder than it has to be. Sometimes teams make things harder than they have to be. And you don't have to do that when it comes to sports, especially with football. So they're using Cam Newton and they're using RPO. People don't know what RPO, it means run pass option, which means I can run, I can pass, or I can look for an option route or make an audible. It's basically 4 plays within 1. It is the most simple thing to do when you have a quarterback like Cam Newton. And a lot of people say, oh, you can't run this in the NFL and you can't do this in the NFL and it doesn't work in the NFL. And Josh McDaniels is like, kiss my ass. I have a 6'5", 6'6", 250 pound muscle lean black quarterback. We're running RPO. He's got a decent enough arm to put the ball where we need the ball to be. Working some young receivers. Oh, by the way, we'll just run for 251 yards today. We're running the football. Old school football. 251 on the ground yesterday for the Patriots with Cam at quarterback. You got this white running back, Burkhead, who nobody would look at and go, yeah, he's going to be a great NFL player. When he was coming out of college, you find a guy like that. Also, too, quick shout out, man, S3 Radio. What's up? I hope you guys are still listening. What's up? I hope you guys appreciate the show, like the sports talk. Please follow me. I'll follow you back. BS3 Radio. New listeners there. William Green. Also, real quick, if you're still in here, sucker, what's up? First of all, what's good, pimping? How are you and your lovely queen and your family and all of that? All right, all that other shit out the way. Now, man, kiss my ass. I don't have to hold no L. Don't listen. I'm trying to be humble, but it's dudes like you that don't allow me to be humble. I'm trying to be humble about the Lakers and LeBron. And here you go with, like I told you, he could go to the finals out of either conference. Don't make me mention who's not playing and who was hurt, what franchise took a year off. See, it's guys like you that make me not be humble. But we're going to leave that alone and get back to the NFL. Shout out to my name, Will. Rashad Mitchell says, great show so far. Appreciate you, Rashad Mitchell. You guys can check him on Periscope. He's doing big things over there with his radio show, too. Him and I got to collab and do some business one day. Rams and Bills game we talked about yesterday. We talked about with Luis Estrada from Sports House and Special Sports a minute ago. The Rams defense have problems. Their defense is in trouble this year. They have two of the best defensive players, maybe top 12, top 10, depending upon how you rank your defense, but they definitely have the best defensive lineman in football, and they could have the best corner, if not the best top 2 or 3 corners in football. And right now, their defense is just getting kind of run all over the field, even though they made a comeback because the Bills let their guard down. When they needed their defense to stand up for the most, the defense didn't. And the defense gave up a long drive and gave up a touchdown where the receiver was pretty much open as hell in the end zone to win that football game. So they have problems there. And they're also going to fall back into that Super Bowl mix too, where teams that go to the Super Bowl or lose in the Super Bowl, they kind of have a Super Bowl hangover and a fall off. And we've seen it with the Atlanta Falcons right now that continue to tumble and tumble and tumble. I'm trying to figure out how the Atlanta Falcons still have a head coach that has lost these type of games over and over again. Really cool, quick stat for you guys. The first team since the 1985 Bengals that have scored 90 points in the first 3 games and have lost all 3 games. Let me say that to you again. They are the first team since the 85 Bengals that have scored 90 points in the first 3 games and have lost all 3. That is not your player. That is coaching. How is he still their coach there? He has to be fired. And some guys just aren't head coaches. He was a great defensive coordinator for the Seahawks with the Legion of Boom, but you're not a head coach. You can't get your team across the finish line. You can't win games. The Bears? Nick Foles? 3 fourth-quarter touchdowns? When you've controlled the game for 3 full solid quarters, 45 hardcore football minutes, and you let Nick Foles come in, that's coaching. I'm trying to figure out how they have not fired their coach just yet. I'm not holding the horn on the Arizona Cardinals. I love the Arizona Cardinals. I like Kyler Murray. I like Cliff Kingsbury. Love that they got D-Hop there. Got a good running back in Kenyon Drake. Defense is young and improving and getting better. I still think they are a threat in the NFC West. People better watch the Cardinals. But shout out to Matthew Stafford and the Lions for going on the road after starting off 0-2 miserably, having a chance to win the opening week against said already previous Bears, who are sitting, I think the Bears are sitting at 3-0 if I'm not mistaken. And the highlights of the Philly and Bengals game are on my TV right now here in the studio. Yeah, we'll talk about them in a minute. Oh my God, Philly. What? Oh my God. I have Philly's solution. I have the solution for Philly. I'll tell you guys in a second here. But I'm not holding the horn on the Cardinals. That was one of my picks that I lost yesterday. I'll take that, but I will give props to the Lions for showing up. And that's why I love NFL football, because everybody gets paid on the same days, guys. Every team has professional football players on it. And sometimes the other team's just good. The other team's just playing well and having a good day. And I think that's exactly what they did. And I respect that. I respect the fact that they showed up professionally and said, yeah, we starting off bad, but we're gonna come get this one today. And Arizona could have jumped out to 3-0 and people would have really been like, whoa, Arizona 3-0, Seattle 3-0. And Seattle's another team that I'll tackle real fast. I actually really like watching them play. Their offense is really great. DJ Metcalf is just a monster. Russell Wilson is growing on me. I still don't like him, but he is growing on me. See, that shows you guys I have depth within me, okay? I have growth. I can see somebody and not like them. And then as time goes on, appreciate what they do for the game and how they play and what they do for their team and their franchise. And then not become a fan, but show them more respect and not so much and not rip him as much as I normally would or had previously done. But I love the way Seattle plays. They do got some defensive issues. They got to show up. The Legion of Boom is not coming back, but Russell Wilson will keep you in every game. Yesterday was a shutout. Dallas could have easily won that game, but not really, because they would have scored 45 points had DK Metcalf not waltzed into the end zone. They got the ball tried to waltz into the end zone. The ball got punched down on like the 1 yard line and then became a touchback. So they would have scored 45 points on Dallas. Would have been 45-31. So, I mean, maybe the score indicated the game was closer than it really was. but it wasn't. Seattle's just a better football team. They're hard to play up there. Cam Newton had them, and it just should have bounced it. Or you spread them out. I don't like that bunch. Spread that out, man. Spread that out. 4 receivers set. Spread that bad boy out. Don't bunch. I know on the goal line, I don't like bunch. I just don't. You're putting everybody in a box. You're putting everybody in the box. Time to time, yeah. But when I got a running quarterback and, you know, he's been running on them all night, throwing on them all night too, almost accounted for 500 yards that game, spread out, 4 receiver set, 1 running back with me. I do RPO. I do RPO from the 1 yard line, RPO from the 1 yard line for the game. So, Dallas Cowboys, defensive problems. And I said this on Fox Sports Radio with Chris Broussard over a year ago. I don't understand all this talent that y'all say Dallas got on their defense. On paper, yeah, put the film on. I should have had that clip. Damn, I should have had that clip ready for today's show. I'll play it tomorrow. I'll play it on tomorrow's show. I'll find the clip because I actually made it part of my audio resume. I made it part of my audio resume, so I had the clip somewhere. I'll just go back into my iMovie and find it and then play it for you guys tomorrow. But I said, I don't know where all this talent is you guys see on defense for the Dallas Cowboys. I don't see what you guys see. I don't see what you guys are talking about. And it's showing. Their defense is getting torched. Onto the Green Bay Packers. I thought Aaron Rodgers was done. I thought discount double check was finished, right? Discount double check is done. They drafted Jordan Love. Jordan Love's the future. Jordan Love is going to take over. His days are over at Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers. And wrong. Aaron Rodgers, just so people know, has put up 43, 41, and 37 points the first 3 games, and they're 3-0. And they went and won in New Orleans last night. Saints are fool's gold too, people. Don't fall for him. Drew Brees' arm is dead. He can't throw it deep anymore. I don't care if you bring back Michael Thomas. I don't care when Michael Thomas comes back. He's not a deep threat. They'll throw deep. They can't throw deep. He doesn't have that arm strength. It's gone. This is called karma right here. These are the spirits and the souls and the voodoo of the Nolans, of the NO, of the dirty. When your punk ass said that you still think players should be standing and not disrespecting the flag and the military after we already told you what the deal was, you still said that crazy shit? And my first article on themedian.com that I wrote this past summer focused on that. That was my first article. Drew Brees' biggest incompletion of his career, I think was the title of it. I was very proud of that article too. Very proud of that article. I have some writing mistakes in it, but that's why I'm in school right now, handling my writing business. I'm going to get better, okay? We don't need the peanut gallery of the writing world and the proofreading and editing world to attack me any more than you guys already have. Hurt my feelings. No, I'm just joking. You haven't hurt my feelings. You can't hurt my feelings. But that New Orleans team, fool's gold. Don't buy in them. Alvin Kamara, legit. Let's finish up with the picks real quick, man, because I don't want to go past like an hour and 20. I want to keep it within my time limit. So, as of last week, I was 18-13. Was it 18-13 as of last week? Let me just double check so I make sure I get y'all the right numbers because I know people do be listening. All right, so 18-13 last week. I had a great week. My first week was 7-9 with the spread. Second week was 11-4. Then this week again, I had another 11-4-1 because there was a tie. Because the Eagles have no idea what's going on. Oh, quick sidebar. I have the solution for the Philadelphia Eagles. Start Jalen Hurts. I'm telling y'all, man. I've been on Jalen Hurts. I've been talking about Jalen Hurts, man, for years. I love him more than Tua. I think he's better than Tua. I told Chris Broussard on his own show, I Couple on Fox Sports Radio, sitting in for Rob Parker. That's how they do that, John. I like the way they do that. I need something like that. I need some sound effects, man. We getting more hype here. Don't worry, it's coming. We getting more hype here. Invest in network, baby. We building over here. But I told him back then, I was like, oh my goodness gracious. And of course he disagreed. But, anyway, let's get back to these picks. So, 18 we're 7-9, 11-1. Oh, excuse me. 11-4, 5 or 4, 11-5 last week, and then 11-4-1 this week because of the one tie. Because Jalen Hurts needs to be a quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles. So Dolphins, Jag. I took Dolphins. We'll take that take that W. Took the Rams over the Bills. Rams let me down there. Texas, the Steelers. That was an easy one. Even though I was a little worried for the first part of the second half, because the first half ended with Deshaun Watson on fire, hitting all his targets. They scored 2 touchdowns and had the lead going in the halftime, so that one worried me. Bengals and Eagles. Listen, Bengals have a rookie. Joe Mixon needs to run for more than 47 yards, in my opinion. Rookie Burrow's playing really well, throwing the ball well, sees the field well, like he is legit. But the Eagles, Carson Wentz, this might be the time you admit that you just made the mistake. You made a mistake on drafting Carson Wentz, or you could just never recover really fully from the ACL, or it's just a mental thing. Niners and Giants, that was an easy pick. Took the Niners, won that one. Took the Pats over the Raiders. I wanted to take the Raiders, but I just didn't think the Raiders would go back east for the 1 o'clock game, which is 10 a.m. here. That record does not really work out for a lot of West Coast teams. Also saw it with the Rams. Rams, the LA team, went out to the East Coast, played in the morning. Buffalo jumped up on them 28-3. Kind of got woken up later in that game and came back and still ended up losing. Took the Titans over the Vikings because I just don't think the Vikings have all the receivers that they need. Jefferson had a really good game as a rookie, his first kind of coming out party from LSU, but they don't have Stephon Diggs. That's going to be a big problem down the line. Titans still can run the football, play defense, and Ryan Tannehill just controls the ball. Didn't throw any touchdowns yesterday, but didn't need to. Got the win. Browns over Washington because I just don't think Washington has anything but a really, really good defensive player, which pulled his groin yesterday. Rookie from Ohio State, so they're going to have problems there. Haskins is not the guy. You saw he played yesterday, guys. And that's against Cleveland's defense. He's just not the guy. Sorry. You need to reset that. I took the Falcons over the Bears because I thought the Falcons would rebound back at home, and I'm still trying to figure out what the Bears are. And even at 3-0, I'm still trying to figure out what the Bears are, but I still don't buy the Bears, but I lost that one. Panthers and Chargers. I took the Chargers because I think the Panthers really had nothing coming in, and I just talked about that with Luis Estrada from Luis Sports House on Spectrum Network, that Chargers blew that game yesterday, and they gave me an L for it. Took the Colts over the bum-ass Jets because I'm going to always take anybody over the bum-ass Jets. There's no explanation about the bum-ass Jets. Just watch the bum-ass Jets play, and you'll see about the bum-ass Jets. You'll get a chance to watch the bum-ass Jets this Thursday night football against the Broncos, and the Broncos will beat the bum-ass Jets that night too. Stop trying to make excuses for Sam Darnold. He wasn't that good at USC. Seahawks and Cowboys. I just didn't think the Cowboys would go up there and win. Hard to win up there. Russell Wilson is chasing that MVP this year. People are trying to put it in his hands this year. So I got the dub there. Bucks and the Broncos. I don't believe in the Broncos because the quarterback's out. Still trying to figure out who their running back is. And their best player pretty much on defense, Von Miller, is done for almost most of the season. And Bucks, I like Tom Brady. This team's going to come around. Tom Brady yesterday, by the way, 297, 3 touchdowns, people. Cards, I'm not getting off the card bandwagon. I'm staying on it all year. But yesterday, the Lions showed up, showed that they were professionals, got the win, got the dub. I'll take the fantasy numbers from Kyler Murray and from DeAndre Hopkins. Those are always up. And did you see the scramble by Kyler Murray and the way he shook that damn defender on like the fight? Like, that's unfair. That's unfair to have feet that quick, that fast for a quarterback. And then late last night, Packers and Saints, I took the Pack because I always take the Pack when I'm talking about my man Discount Double Check. If they don't play the Dolphins, then I don't take them. But if they play the Dolphins, I don't take them. But I pretty much take the Packers because I like Aaron Rodgers. And I think the Saints are fool's gold. And I think them voodoo spirits, them voodoo spirits coming out the Gulf, going to get Drew Brees for saying that they're not listening to black people. Basically is what it came down to. You ain't listened to the niggers. You didn't listen. We already told you what this shit was. And you still gonna open your mouth and play the good old white boy? Oh, no, bro. This is a black city. We just supported you all this time? Nope. So I'm picking against the Saints all year long, every game. That made me 11-4-1 yesterday, which brought my season total to 29-17-1. So basically, after falling flat on my face opening week, I bounced back with 2 big-time wins this weekend. 11-5 last weekend, 11-4-1 this weekend. Brings me to 29-17-1, and I'm going to clean up again next week, man. So, good stuff today. Great show. Appreciate my man Luis Estrada calling in. I got to go because we got things to do around here in the Husky house. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Don't forget to catch everything that's podcasted up on iHeartRadio. We're live on Spreaker right now. But when we end here, everything is podcasted back over on iHeartRadio. You can also check us out on Facebook on the VESN, that is Vesa Network page. and also on my IG live on the Big Vanilla Funny. It spells exactly how it sounds. Enjoy Monday night game tonight. I'm going to take the Ravens at home. I think the Chiefs will play real tough. I think it'll be a defensive game. I want to see Honey Badger make some plays tonight, but Ravens still play defense. They're playing at home. I like Lamar. I like their running game. And we'll see. We'll see, man. But I'll take Lamar Jackson at home tonight, and I'll take 3 points. Give me Baltimore. Give me Baltimore by 2.5. So give me Baltimore by 2.5. I'll take Baltimore 2.5 tonight. All right. VJ's on Sportsmanlike Conduct, man. I appreciate you guys. Everybody have a great day. Y'all be safe out there. I'm taking my son outside. I'm gonna run an errand real quick. Then I'm gonna come back and get my son dressed and stuff. We're going outside to play today in his little walker and get him some fresh air. Get him outside. All right, man. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Peace.